Alright, sound check. You guys should be able to hear me. Yep. Alright, well, I am co-working again today, and I am just adding more and more training to my documentation. And that's what I'm working on. So if anybody needs anything, let me know. I felt really good up until like I turned on this camera above me. Not the camera, the light. And then I started sneezing again. So I'm like, alright, I'm just going to hang out here. And then if anybody needs to see me for anything, I'll turn on the camera. But I think for the most part, we're fine. Let's go with, I've got to start adding in more checkout stuff. So that'll be my next part. All right. So you guys are watching my normal Ranger cam and some other stuff. If you guys have any questions about anything you need to know about or work on today, let me know, and we'll go through that stuff. Otherwise, I'm just kind of hanging out. Probably talk to you guys as we go, but mostly I'm just checking everything out. So it's the werewolf server. It's werewolf config. Which node is the head node? There's that. We'll do the startup over here. Different startup. Sometimes when you're, again, building out training, you'll do some things in some spaces and then some spots in others. So I'm kind of laying out how I'm going to have these guys check on things and verify things and all that stuff in the cluster. So that's always fun. Lots of stuff to do. All right. And then, yeah, if you guys need me to show you anything, that's what I got this other window open for, you know. I'm here, just, you know, let me know what we need to do. If you guys have any questions about systems or building stuff out or the labs that we're doing in our environment, any of that kind of stuff, let me know. All right. So running Slurm, checking partitions. We can do. Oh, you know what? Node checkout. I got my node checkout stuff pretty well. Okay, slide. Starting. Let's say starting or restarting a node. How would you start up a node in our cluster? Well, you will check that node out. Do all kinds of different terrible things to it. All right, so not in that environment. And yeah, sorry, Riven Lab. I'm just working on stuff right now. This is just a little bit of a co-working session. You're welcome to hang out or not. That's up to you. It is completely up to you. We are not working super hard today. Yeah, I'm here, Chris. I'm here, Riven. I'm just kind of hanging out, not working too hard. If you guys need anything, I mean, I could pop on stream. I just I felt really good, and then I just looked up at my freaking light, and it made me start sneezing and stuff. So I apologize. Yeah, no, you guys will see my closed captioning if I'm talking. I'm just kind of sitting here. I'm pulling a bunch of slide and power information for the cluster that I'm on, and I'm showing. So one of the things is checking node power status is, a simple command. You just do wwctl power status, right? That kind of thing. I know you guys can't see what I'm doing, but it's because I am building something for a training, and I can only show you guys limited stuff, so I'm letting you guys see my other screen, and then if you have questions, just kind of let me know. That's the goal. So node power status is the node on. Reset the node. I'm going to change this and say node power commands. Is the node on? And then when our node power commands, which are, cycle off, on, reset, soft status. There's all these things that we can do to check out a node and make sure that it's kind of in a healthy state. So that's what I'm pulling right here. Actually, I need to re-pull this. All right, there we go. Better version of the command that I want to show. You don't want to show an error in your training if you can avoid it. Right, that's probably best left out. Don't be showing errors, because you obviously don't want people making errors off of your training. So, node power commands right there. All right. Yeah. Well, yeah, hopefully it's good. Sorry if it's this admin 16-week course. Just say I'm mobile. So, no, Doc, no, we only meet on Saturdays for that. But the recordings are up, and the recordings are on the disc or in YouTube. So, for anybody wondering, we have a 16-week course going. We're in Unit 5 right now, and anybody can do it. It's free. It's over on the Discord. I think I can pull Discord up right now for you guys here. Hold on a second here. The course is down in our Prolog projects. See if I can pull Discord up real quick. I can pull Discord up, but it goes behind everything. So let me... Make sure Discord. There we go. Yeah, here's our Prolog projects. We do the meetings on Saturdays. If you ever need to find where that is in your Discord, you always have a event section on the top left, and then you can see we're up to 198 people say they're doing it. I think we're going to probably have about 50 finish, but we have 198 at least interested, so that's good. That's the highest that number's been so far. That's cool. Title from Saturday. Oh no, hold on. No. Hold on. Sorry. No, Coworking Linux. Hold on. And then Coworking. Yeah, it just says. Are you sure about that? Because both of my things say I'm Coworking Linux. Co-working, which just means kind of hanging out. Like I'm working in a different window. That's what that should mean. It shouldn't say Unit 5, does it? That would be a problem. If it was Unit 5, that would be bad. That's not what I want to show. My YouTube said, huh, hold on. Oh, man. Yeah, it's definitely the wrong one. Hold on. Sorry, that's not you guys. That's... I don't know why my streaming software has me live twice right now. Maybe I'll just delete this one later. But the... Yeah, there's two. One says Coworking, and the other one... Oh, yeah, no, it should be Coworking. In Linux. I don't know why it says that, guys. I apologize. But I'll fix it there, and then I don't know why it shows two different things. No, I have this weird thing that shows two different lives on my YouTube side of things. So that's, I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. Super weird, guys. And this one has more people than the other one, so that's weird too. All right, well, I mean, what can we do about it, right? So I'm gonna get this stuff out of the way. I'm gonna keep building this thing that I'm building. So node power status, and then we've got a console. Got a console to the server. Dot duplicate slide node console to watch boot. Node power commands. Control plus EC dot to disconnect. All right. Yeah, Chris, I don't know why that's doing that. That's super weird. Yeah. I'll make it to everything but week 8. So we're in week 5 right now, and then we have a few more weeks. But in week 8, I'll probably be coming home from Hawaii on that day, so I'll probably miss that. But for you guys that don't know, I do high performance compute, Linux engineering, and I build systems, and then I also build training for them. So that's kind of my job. I have a Linux terminal there, so if you guys do have a question or want to know anything about the lab or anything like that, you guys should be seeing my terminal there, which I can see there that you do. Yeah, you guys should have access over there. Console manager. So anyways, hey, how's it going, Ste1E? Hopefully this stuff's useful to you. I am, again, not working too hard, but I do have a command terminal up if you guys want to see anything that we're doing. I am right now, currently, just kind of working in another window and kind of making things work the way I need to. But I do need to pull up a couple of other things that are kind of gotchas in my environment. So now I got to go through a whole bunch of notes and keep pulling the notes out, right? Because this is what I do as a engineer a lot of the times, but also as a trainer, is I will have notes in different places, and then I will have to go grab them and pull them in for the different trainings. So now I'm going through some of my raw notes and putting in different things that I've had to update or edit in this special environment here. So, yeah. So if you guys have questions, though, we're not working too hard. Just kind of hanging out. If anybody wants to hang out, and we've always got the Discord. I tell you guys about. Discord is free. You guys can hang out down there with other engineers that kind of think about the same stuff that you guys do. And then let me get it for you guys over on the YouTube side as well. There we go. That's should be good enough. Boom. There you go. And that link should still work for you guys. Yeah. So let me know if you guys have questions about that stuff. Watch boot. And then I need, maybe, in my environment here, the ability to see I know I have these IPMI commands somewhere. I'm going to pull this all the way to the end. I need it. Okay. This will probably be needed at the end as well. Probably close that one now. All right. Ranger looks pretty comfy down there, huh? That dog's not working too hard. Don't worry about him. He'll be okay. My dog. My dog. Yeah, so that's all we're working on here. I'm gonna do some. This one I really need. I've got some doc here that I'm pulling over. So you guys that have seen my notepad before, my Notepad++, you know that I just kind of throw everything in there. But now I'm going and pulling out things that are important for this cluster. Whoops, cancel. Oh yeah, that's important. Good. And then there we go. All right, I think I've got all my important stuff far over at the end now. Okay. All right, good. So now I can start populating more of my documents that I'm kind of working on. Who's working today? Are any of you guys working today? I know I'm technically off. But you might say, why are you co-working? Well, because I get stuff done. Like I kind of can sit here and work in my environment and kind of knock off tasks and stuff. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Um, but also we can look in, the home lab. We can check. Let's go look for Ansible and let's do bang 964. So the exclamation mark or the bang will allow us to hit any previous history, and we want 964, which is Ansible servers fan out of 20, or well, it's not fan out in this sense, it's fork. So fork 20, and then -m shell -a uptime will go and hit all of the nodes that are in the server, which is all the Rocky nodes. And I just want to see if I can get to all the nodes. I want to make sure. So what happens is people use the labs, and then sometimes one or two of them will be in a bad state. See, Rocky 10 is busted again. So we need to go get Rocky 10 back up and working in my environment. Rocky 3 is down as well, so I can't get there as well. Sarush, so the question is, Sarush said, I want to build a home lab. What should I buy since I have a MacBook and it's not good for practicing Kubernetes and Ansible? I would start with this before you spend any money on anything. Well, before you spend any money on anything, I would go here. I would go to Killer Coda, which is a 100% free site on the internet. I've been using them for 2.5 years. They've never even approached me for money. The only thing they do is when you're in a lab. Look, so you're in a lab environment, right? I'm automatically in Linux. I didn't have to spend any money. The only thing they do is right up here at the top right. They say, hey, if you want to, you can get a longer extended time with us. That's it. That's the only time I ever see anything from these guys. This is one of the best things on the internet for getting your hands on. Like if you have 10 minutes every morning that you can get into Linux, you have this stuff here. And then on top of that, they have, so they're not just an environment that's free. They've got Kubernetes stuff. They've got 120 labs here. That's 120 plus. They've got CKAD stuff. The guy who runs this, Kim Woosterkamp, he's kind of the standard for your certified Kubernetes stuff. He uploaded all his stuff to YouTube, so all of these in here and his YouTube videos would really help get you ready for a CKS if you wanted to study for that. Look at it, each of these is their own environment, their own little lab, right? So anyways, my thing was, I would say before you even spend any money, go spend time in this. Here's my Ansible stuff, right? My persona on here is Het Tanis. Here's all my Ansible ones that'll teach you how to do Ansible. And that's probably, if you take 10 minutes per, that's probably still at least a couple of hours worth of Ansible work to get through, right? And then all of mine spin you off into other things that are maybe useful as well. I have Linux labs, and there's other stuff like that. But my point is, I would do all of these well before I ever spent any money. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And then if you really want to build stuff, I would go do stuff in the cloud for pennies on the dollar, like pennies on the month, really, because you could do all kinds of stuff out in the cloud and build stuff up and tear it down and do Linux out there and do networking for nothing, like for literally under $2 a month, right? You just build servers and tear them down and build them and tear them down. So that was to answer the question. If you want to build a home lab out, what would you do? I would say first, guarantee that you really want to do this. Go find 100 labs out here. Look, they don't have to be mine. Go do this Open Tofu and this Red Panda. I don't know these guys. And Nginx. Do all of these things and make sure you like this enough to go spend money on it. That's what I would say first. Trivi's awesome, man. It just scans your containers and stuff like that. It's an awesome tool. They got all these tools right here. Obviously, I'm biased towards my 60 or so labs, but you do not have to do my stuff. You should do whatever's good for you, right? You want to get ready for your LFCS certification? I haven't even looked at this one. Playground and then Linux scenarios. Oh, Powell. So they're taking you back over to this guy. But so that's my point, is I would say go spend a bunch of time in this environment, and because there's two things that happen, right? Like there's two things that you have to be kind of good at. On the systems administration side of things, you need to know how to do a bunch of Linux commands, and then you need to know how to keep Linux servers running. You don't need to necessarily know how to build them yet. At Linux Linux server administration level, you're not quite to like building them. That's more of like an engineering task typically. But you'll support them. You'll maybe do some building of them. But my point is, you'll mostly start this career maintaining servers that are already built, and to that end, hands-on is king. Like, because, if I want somebody who, if I want somebody that can keep my servers working, I want somebody who has 1,000 or 10,000 hours working on servers, even if it's just hanging out. So, Atticus said, Scott, hope all's well. Is the Linux Foundation search something worth it in the real world? I mean, it's better. Atticus, I always talk about stuff in the context of what I call positive differentiators. So let me just compare it like this. At some point, somebody's going to have to make a decision on you. Typically, they make a decision on whether or not they're going to bring you in for an interview. And they might do that while they're looking at a bunch of resumes. And it might not say that a degree is required, but if 10 people have degrees and all 40 other people don't, that may be what they cut on. So that's a positive differentiator. If the manager likes to look at certifications, and we were just talking about this the other day, me and Sending Grounds have probably had more like interviews between the two of us than, if I had to guess, any 50 other people in this field. Because I have well over 350 interviews that I've sat in as the technical lead and the guy who's doing the technical part. And he's done, I think he said in the hundreds, right? So we were both talking about how, like, he doesn't even look at certs, and he doesn't even look at, like, if you have a degree. He tries to avoid that, and he just looks at what you say. Whereas I do look at all those things as a positive differentiator. And if it comes down to, like, a close thing between you two, I'm going to go with the one who has the positive differentiator. So I tend to think, like, you don't need college to get into this, but college is good. And you don't need a certification to get into this, but certifications are good. And you also don't need to... Oh, yeah, Mr. Intake. I have done so many interviews. I'm always the technical lead on them. Like people have been having me sit in to do the technical part of the questions for many, many years. Yeah. You know what? It's funny. I need to put my Twitch alert needs to be in front of all this stuff. So Ranger pops up in front of everybody. Okay. There he goes. Ranger will be in the right spot now. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Is now, Atticus, if you say, is it worth it? I would say this: do you have any other certs? Do you have any other experience? Do you have any other degrees? And if the answer is no, 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 then yes, that cert is worth something. If you say, hey, Scott, I already have an RHCSA, I'd say maybe that cert's not that big a deal, because it would just be, it's almost like in the categories of things, if that were me, I would go look for more project work to put on my resume and to make people look at, because I've already got the certs on lock if I have that cert, right? So, and then if I had a bunch of experience, I wouldn't be looking for 6 more months of experience. I would be looking to maybe round out. This is why a lot of people that have been in the industry for a while go back and finish their degrees, because that's some other bucket that you're trying to fill up. There's a thing, this is big, and I remember the Army was real big on this stuff, was like when you would go to get like moved up, there would be like a 500 point system to make sergeant, and like 200 could come from your physical fitness stuff, and like 200 could come from like college and outside of stuff, and then 200 could come from like internal, and however you got to 500 was fine, right? But, or whatever the number was at that time, but you had to fill up these different buckets. You just couldn't be so in shape that you got 500 from being in shape. You could only get 200 from being in great physical shape. You had to get another 200 from not being an idiot, being able to pass tests in schools and stuff like that. So hopefully that makes sense a little bit. All right. So I am back over here. Sorry, I'm over here working on my training a little bit. Let me move this over, then move this down. And then I'm going to say, if a node say IPMI console So if a node. Oh, excuse me. IPMI console and reset. Sorry, okay. I'm doing some other stuff. I'll be back later. Gonna listen to your administration course to catch up. Yeah, Mr. Intake, please do, man. That stuff's all on YouTube for you guys, and everything we do here, the goal of this is to get you guys doing this stuff professionally. So, yeah, come back around. Atticus, I'm coming in data analytics background, got CompTIA Network Plus and Security Plus. Want to do system administration going forward. Yeah, like, look, you've got Network Plus and Security Plus on lock. I would honestly say, look, man, if you were coming in for like a Linux job, I would be like, hey, this guy knows his network and his security. I want to go spend a little time maybe looking at like what projects he's done or what experience he has, if that makes sense. And do you guys want me to? I can, while I'm working on this other stuff, I can go and I can show you guys how I do interviews if you guys want to see that. I mean, we're just again kind of messing around today, but I can pull up my interview process and show you guys, because I always do the technical side of interviews. I don't do any of that other stuff, right? Like some of you guys know, I kind of yeah, I mean, look, I got all the time in the world. The wife's out of town for a little bit, so let me pull up let me pull one up real quick. Let's say open. Man, they love to make it hard to do anything. All right, let's see. Cybersecurity. No, none of that stuff. Browse. Let's go look in our Linux group. Yeah, I mean, some of you guys have seen this before, so this won't be anything new to you. But, you know, for other people, I think this will be good. We'll go look at, like, I was helping find senior HPC technical people. So I was trying to find in my team, or in a team I was working on. I was trying to find. So let me change one thing real quick. Let me pop my Discord back up, but I'm gonna change it. I just kind of want to call that generic, but we'll see. Capture window, PowerPoint. All right. Let me know if you guys see that. Yeah, I think. Oh, whoops. Nope, that's the wrong one. That's funny that grabbed that. Hold on, real quick. I want to grab. For sure, I want to grab that one. Nope. It's not gonna grab it. All right. Give me a second here. All right, hold on. Says it's on the right one. Okay, you guys should be able to see that right now. Giga Beowulf. Yeah. Can you guys see that? Okay. That's so one of the things that you guys might notice that's different today than like, and yesterday I was doing this too. By the way, I can be on. Hold on. Lights, camera. I can be on here, right? Like if you guys want to see me or whatever. But Dragonov, I would say, you know, it's interesting. I've probably caught. It's interesting. You'll see how I do it, because what I do, kind of, I really think the way that I give interviews for technical stuff is a good way to weed out bullshit. I really do. But let me show you guys this. Some of you guys haven't been around to see this before. I can make that a little bigger. Hold on. Grab that, make it just a little bigger. Let's see, hold on. Discord. It's my Discord window, but I switched it for this. All right, can you guys see that? Yeah, you guys see that. Okay. So the way that I approach interviews is I try to squeeze the subjective down to the objective, which is actually, if you ever do like qualitative research, this is also the way that qualitative research kind of tries to handle this. So let's go look at the problem. The problem is, we want to hire somebody and we want to ask the right questions, and then we want to get everybody objectively lined up so we can pick the best person. So this is how I do my interviews. And by the way, if you ever see my testing methodology is always these 5 things. If you say, hey Scott, will you go test this stuff before, or if you say, Scott, we're about to make a change, we're about to make the servers better in some way, we're going to add this new storage, I'd say, okay, hold on, let me test some speed in the storage now. And is this what we expect? Okay, do we have a good baseline for this? Yes. And then I would, when we connected to new one, I would do those same tests to make sure that we got the 10 to 20 to 30%, whatever we expected, better speed. These are my 5 questions I always ask. It doesn't matter what we're doing. In this case, we're trying to find a person. So purpose, select the next senior HPC for a team. This role, I ended up interviewing in this one about 9 people. And we ended up not even really getting, we ended up backing off of the senior HPC side, and we really just wanted a Linux engineer that was senior. So we ended up with a really senior Linux guy that I really liked. But here's the thing, didn't matter if I like him. My questions are not personality fit, and I don't care about non-technical. Like, I don't care if you can do PowerPoint, and I don't care if you fit in with the team, and I don't care if we're going to want to have a beer with you. That's not the purpose of me being there. So my scope is technical questions to determine capability to execute on the job duties. That's what I would do. My methodology, you're going to see my matrix in a minute here, but apply an approach to objectively determine the best technical candidate. Again, I don't care if you pick your nose in your cubicle. I don't care if you are, unfriendly and whatever. That's not the purpose of what I'm doing. And I'll ask all the same questions to all the candidates to normalize their answers to a 35-point template. Answers will be excellent, adequate, or poor. And then this will allow us to quantitatively show which candidate is the best technical for the team. It also takes it from being subjective to much more objective. It's not like, I liked some of their answers and I didn't like others, so yeah, they're good. That would just be like good, like high, medium, and low. That's qualitative. That is not quantitative. We want to put a number to this thing. And then the control was we will give the same questions to both candidates in the same reasonable time frame and give them adequate time to answer. Also, there was another control that I don't mention here. There was a guy named Mac on my team, and me and Mac gave these interviews to all of these high performance compute people, and then also to a lot of site reliability engineers. In fact, my role on this team, this was the team I worked with for the last year before I came off and started working on this current project I'm on. This team, they had gone down to only 2 people. They had like 8 people on their high performance compute team, and a bunch of people left, so they were down to the manager and a guy who only had a couple years with that team. So they needed people. So my company already does consulting with them, so they brought me on for a 1-year contract to help them rebuild that team. And when I left there in June, on good terms by the way, we had built their team back up to 8 people. So I had replaced 6 like backfills, and then my time was done. It's kind of like I just hitched up and threw my bag over my shoulder and went. But it was good, right? But me and Mac was one of the other senior guys they hired right as I first came on, and then we kind of ran through the projects and trained everybody and that kind of stuff. Well, anyway, so if I didn't ever grab the specific responsibilities of this team, and I might have them somewhere, and I could write them down. But then also the minimum qualifications. I think that's hilarious. But what I would do typically is I would take those and I would distill those down into a bunch of questions, which is what I did on this one. I'll show you another one that kind of makes this easier to see because I have them there. But these were the questions that I came up with. There's 7 questions, 5 points each, so for 35 total points. We only have 30 minutes in an interview. So I want to ask, please. So again, this is engineering. So you need to know how to build new servers and work through a process of making them faster or more secure or all of these different things that can happen, right? Yeah, qualifications. But please describe the Linux booting process, preferably on RHEL, CentOS, or Rocky, and how would you troubleshoot that process? So somebody that's done this before, is, well, one, sometimes the question came back, well, where would you like me to start? And I'm like, oh, excellent. You can go ahead and start after the post if you want. And then they would get into whatever. But if a person wanted to tell me all of the hardware stuff first, system boots, power floods in out of the, A and B side channel power. You turn on the device, and then the system does a power on self test. It walks its own system to see if there's any open, I guess you would say, any open circuits and anything that's not working properly. And then after that's done and it does its full BIOS check, it's going to hand off to a boot device. It's going to come up in the boot device order that you've set in the BIOS. Once it's done that, it's going to hand off to, as it goes and looks in sequential order that you set of the BIOS. Once it finds a device with a master boot record on it, it's going to hand off to that master boot record, and then that master boot record, whatever type of tool that is, if it's a grub or one of the old Lilos, or I don't know, I guess if it's something like one of these Windows partitions, I don't know, it would start and it would look then for the kernel would be somewhere, and the init RAM FS. Those two things have to be there for a system to boot. Those things can be either on the disk locally, or they can be pulled over the network through like a stateless image process, and there would probably be some other things that would happen first, like DHCP and some other stuff. That right there, if somebody could even tell me that, I would be like, fucking person's booted some servers, right? I would know that. So then, that would be a pretty good response for me. But then they'd go into like troubleshooting, and we'd say, well, okay, that was pretty good. What if the system doesn't find its init RAM FS? What would you do? What are some things that you might do? And there's any number of things that you could do to try to fix that. That's also not something that I've ever seen in my career, but that could be something that we say. And a perfectly logical troubleshooting on something that far back, especially, if I say, well, I know from this environment that all of our stuff is out on the network, and once this node comes up, it's just going to reattach. I'm going to go ahead and treat this server like it's a cattle and not pet, and just go ahead and kill it. Rebuild. I'll redeploy. Redeploying in the first instance of a problem is, we got a redeploy process. It takes 10 minutes. That's probably going to be better than troubleshooting too much. Yeah, panic. Panic is the next thing. Yeah. When you see the BIOS, and it looks like the quadratic formula exploded. I stole that from Strong Bad. If any of you guys have ever seen Strong Bad's computer virus episode, pretty good, pretty worthwhile. But anyway, so, we would do that. And then the funny thing was, I told you guys earlier that me and Mac probably gave about 15 interviews between this and the other one. And Mac and I were always within about 2 points of each other when we got done for how sometimes like I would give a 5 and he'd give a 4 or whatever. But we were always very close with our candidates on the entire time. He and I were very in sync on who was kind of doing well and who wasn't. So again, I take whatever they just told me and I kind of mull it around in my head as I'm talking to them. And again, this has to like happen fast because you only got 30 minutes, right? And I kind of mull around and go, if it seemed to me like they had done this and they were capable of doing it technically, they got a 5. But if there was something kind of lacking in the process, or maybe it sounded like it was more textbook and they didn't really have a good troubleshooting process, that might be like a 4 or a 3 for me, right? Does that kind of make sense? And by the way, I used, the first time I did this, I did 5, 3, and 1. And then I saw that Mac had used like a sliding scale. Mac was given some 4s and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's pretty slick. I can do that, can't I? And then it was funny. I did that for the rest of the time. So he had influenced me because I originally had intended to do 5, 3, and 1. But sometimes people give you a 4. It's not a perfect answer. It's not all the things you were looking for, but it was pretty good, right? So that could be a 4. And then this next one was, how do you automate something in Linux? What tools do you use to execute something at a specific time of day? Everybody latched onto cron. They're like, yeah, cron, that's the way to do it. And I go, okay, that's fine. You could also use system D timers, but I never interrupted people. I just let them flow. But, okay, so, cron or system D timers. And then, but then how do you automate something? Like, are you using, this wasn't a trick question. This isn't a trick question. If any of you are hanging around the Discord and they're like, oh, Scott's going to ask a trick question about automating something. No, you use Bash, you can use Perl, you use Python, you use Ansible. But why do you use that? Like, and then tell me a little bit about it. So we would follow up sometimes and say, yeah, what have you automated? What's the biggest project that you know that your stuff is working on still currently? That kind of stuff. And then my next one is, how do you harden a Linux system? What are the high level steps? Can you tell us the time you've hardened a system? So when I say, how do you harden a Linux system, I'm not looking for you to give me like all the applicability 1.1.1 of like the STIG standards or something like that. That's not what I'm doing. Oh, Moop, I'm just on early because it's a holiday for us over here. It's yeah, it's a holiday for us over here in the States. That's all I'm gonna say. But there are high level steps. So then, like, how would you harden a system? And look, some people are gonna focus on patching. That is a part of it, kind of. But even before that, removing services, disabling services, pulling out software packages that don't need to be there. Other ways to harden a system is following benchmark standards, so the CIS or the STIG benchmarks, modifying the sysctl the way that the TCP stack works, turning on firewalls, which are host intrusion detection systems, or host firewall devices, right? Like all of these things. Dragonov, you didn't get off? Yep, I'm sorry, man. I'm off, but I'm still technically working. Like this is a co-working session, so I'm showing you guys this stuff, and then I'm also kind of pulling other stuff kind of as we go. So what are the high level steps? Can you tell us about systems you harden? And then like here's the thing. Some people know the steps to harden a system, but they've never hardened a system. They've never taken a box and actually applied STIGs to it or applied whatever. So I just wanted to hear a story of when they've done it. How have you made a system more resilient to attack? You know, and what standards did you use? Now, so that's important. Then the next one is, what authentication systems have you used in Linux, right? I mean, obviously most of us have built a user here or there, but that's not really what companies normally do. We tie back into like LDAP or something like that. So how have you tied back to enterprise identity and access management systems? What ones have you used? And an older answer, which is acceptable to me, but is also kind of older, is like Kerberos and Samba. Kerberos and Samba work together for that. More modern is SSSD. And then there's also, you could be doing IDM in Red Hat, those kind of technologies. I don't know. I'm trying to think of any other ones that are big right now that do that. Oh, Vault actually has a connector that'll do your identity and access management for you if you want from your enterprise. So Vault will do it. But it's basically like, how are you authenticating? Dragonov, no. This is stuff. A lot of this stuff comes from the systems administration course we're doing right now. I'm talking through a lot of this stuff with those guys. But no, the lab. Think of the lab as like your time, just hands on the keyboard. Like the labs that I have out there, those are all, you know, hands on the keyboard, learning about how Linux works. And yeah, I guess some of these would probably be helped by this, but this is a wide, this is a very wide knowledge type industry to get into. So you got to know a lot of things about a lot of things, right? Is it Burger Day? What's Burger Day? Oh yeah. I mean, I guess we could have. I might go get some burgers later. I gotta do lunch here in a little bit, but college courses I work with Linux, but don't get as in depth as this. No. I have Dragonov. I have a systems administrator course that's free on our Discord that we're running right now. It's a lot like a college course. It probably feels like a college course to people, since I've been a college professor for 16 years. But that being said, this right here is how I do technical interviews with people. All right. How do you, what are the RAID levels and how are they used in Linux operating systems? Can you tell us how they're used in storage systems, or have you done any of that? Yeah, Dragonov, on the YouTube side, there's a playlist called, hold on. I think it's YT. On the YouTube side, there's a playlist in there called Linux Systems Administration course, and we have the first 5 recorded, yeah. And then all the material for it is up in the Discord. I can't show it to you guys right now because I actually stole my screen register for that with this, but doesn't matter. All right, next one, raid levels. What is raid? How does raid work? And somebody who knows that's going to be able to at least talk to, the 0, the 1s, the 5s. Maybe they know the 1 zeros and the all the variations of that, but I don't really care about that so much. I care more about this because it'll show that somebody's built systems, and this job was going to be potentially taking over my old role, which was building servers for this company. Because when I was on for that year, I had to do quite a bit of new server build process and get things kind of where they needed to go. So, all right. Then this next one is, what type of operating systems have you done? Can you describe the process you've used? How do you ensure different environments stayed in sync? So this kind of speaks to your operational knowledge of systems and what's this kind of stuff. Yeah, Sarush, this was a senior HPC technical interview that I was giving. I gave this one to 8 or 9 people, and then we ended up picking somebody who was heavier on the Linux and less on the HPC. We were willing to teach them the HPC part of it because they knew Linux well. So these kind of reflect that I was going more for knowing Linux in general than that other stuff. So, hey, Less Than T, how's it going? Hopefully this stuff's useful to you. I appreciate the subscription. Hopefully this stuff's useful to you guys. So, yeah, DPR, my goal in giving you guys these great materials, as you say, is to get you guys doing this stuff professionally. Because I tell everybody, once somebody knocks me off my top position as being the best engineer I know in my own head. No, I'm just kidding. Then I would retire forever and go do like sales or something. But no, I'm just kidding. The goal is to get you guys doing this because I think anybody can do this if they really wanted to work at it and get good at it. So this is also, I tell you guys, like this stuff, the Twitch and the YouTube here, this stuff's fine. But if you really want to get involved, go get down the Discord. We've got guys, hold on, let me go look right now. They may be studying right now. There are people down in the voice chat. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 people down there right now studying, working on stuff, hanging out. And that's like one of my favorite things. Since I started this course, people have been down there studying and working almost the whole time. And I'm just like, that's fun. That's fun. That's what we're doing this for, is like get you guys. People were talking the other day. I saw somebody say like, hey, I've made so many good friends in this channel. They're not talking about me. They're talking about other people that are working on getting up there. And that's what I want. I don't, like, strictly speaking, and not to be a jerk, I don't need more friends. I have, a lot. I have 4 brothers. I have a huge family. I have all my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu buddies and all that stuff. I'm not doing this to make more friends, although making friends is fine. What I'm saying is you guys are making friends with each other down there, and that's like kind of clutch to me. And then every time I hear about somebody getting a job from somebody else that they met, I think that's pretty cool too. So, yeah. Anyway, so you guys keep working on stuff, keep getting better at this. Anyways, what troubleshooting methodologies have you used? Can you describe an incident that you were involved with and how you found the resolution? So, you do this, and then it looks something like, did I wipe this? Huh. I thought I had the answers in here, and I thought that I had, this is the example of it filled out. I don't know why it's not showing there anymore, though. But let me show you guys, let me pull up a different one real quick. I'm going to close this one out. No, I don't want to show that again. Hold on. Let me get rid of that for a second. And then let me pull up. I'll show you guys the other one that we did. I want to say we did about 7 or 8 interviews for this one before we found the right person. This is the site reliability engineer. This is the one that I originally built this for. So let me pull this back up. Nope, wrong one. So this one, and then make him. Nope, wrong one. Well, it's weird that it won't show the one that I select. That one. Okay. Nope, it changed again. All right, keep changing. All right, we might have to toss this one out. We'll give him one more chance. I'm definitely clicking on the right window, which is what's annoying about it. super annoying. All right, that looks right. Doesn't that look right? Nope. All right, here's what we're gonna do, guys. We're just gonna move this one back to Discord because this window's named Discord. Give me a second here. Where the hell's Discord at? I can't find Discord. It's kind of a hassle when you're trying to move scenes around live. All right, see, Discord pops right up. I'm just gonna make a new source real quick. Hold on. Which is a super hassle, but we'll just do it. Fuck it. In the words of let's see, let's call this PowerPoint. And we're definitely selecting this guy. And it still goes to the, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know why it picks the other PowerPoint, even though it's definitely the right one that I'm selecting. See, it's right. I didn't do anything. It just did that itself. It just keeps changing. All right, let me see. This is the other one. I want to be on this one. Stay there. Don't fucking. It literally just changes. It like I'm not clicking anything. I click something, change. Click back. I'm here. Not look. There's my there. My hands were there. That's so fucking weird. All right, guys. Well, you know, who knows? We'll just have to like go like this with hand signs or something. It's not gonna. I'm not gonna be able to show that one. I don't know why. I don't know why the other one did that, like it did. Maybe no. That shouldn't work. That shouldn't matter. No. I'm gonna give it one more try. One more of the old college try. Keep changing back to the other one. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want that one. I want this one. Nope. All right. Well, screw it. I don't know. That's up in our Discord, though. So if anybody wants to look at those, you go in our Discord to, I think, presentations. And then we've got... oh, I don't have this showing for you guys. Hold on. Right there. You go here, and then you go up a little bit. So I'm in presentations, and then this was the... well, there's a self-assessment that I think is useful. And then you go up a little bit. And then, no, that's HPC topics. Certified Solutions Architect stuff. Subnetting. I don't know where I have it. Certified Cloud Practitioner stuff. Huh. I don't know. I don't know where it is, guys. Ah, the wife wants me to call her. All right. Do it live. Yeah, I actually have that right here, but I don't have it in this scene. I don't have it set to show you guys that stuff. So, all right. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go off of camera real quick, and I'm going to move this stuff out of the way, and I'm gonna move the Ranger cam. Oh, let me get this thing out of the way. I can show that stuff later to you guys, probably later on today for people that are kind of interested in that. Let me pull this back up, and I'll leave that spinning so you guys can check on Ranger, and I'll take a real quick break. Let me put Google timer. Right, Google's got a little timer. Let's do like 6 minutes. 6-minute break. Hang out, watch Ranger Cam, watch the other stuff, and then I'll be back. And we'll go from there. But yeah, I do love that. I got that little O'Reilly gift that's like, we're doing it live. All right, I'll be back, guys. The wife wanted me to call her, so I had to call the wife. So, pop back up on here for a second. How's our timer doing? 3:24. All right, I'm gonna do some more of my labs and stuff while I'm doing this. While you guys are watching Ranger Dog. All right. So. Yeah, let me know if you guys have anything you need. Because I am just hitting some node stuff in my other window. So I am just showing these guys how to maybe check on their server. Like the goal of this training is really just to make sure that the guys who the team that takes over, right? Like you gotta think about it. If you ever build servers for people, right? All they really want is a little bit of confidence that the servers and that the maintenance are going to be manageable. I mean, there's a lot to keeping a cluster up, and the way I'm kind of looking at this handoff is I'm going to be in there talking to like somewhere between like 3 and 5 systems administrators, and they all know Linux. They're Linux high performance compute engineers, Linux systems administrators, and they probably in some cases know Linux better than me. I mean, I've been doing it 20 years, but some of these guys might even be longer, right? 20, 30 years maybe. But the thing is, I've been on the system for the last 4 months helping build it, and other guys on my team have been building it even longer. So the training that I'm building out is kind of like a warm handoff of, hey, okay, yeah, I know you guys know how to do Linux, but in this system and with Werewolf and with all of these things, and what it's more doing is like aligning people that kind of know systems and bringing them into better alignment with the overall, if that makes sense. So yeah, guys, and I apologize at that thing. I don't know why. I have to figure out. I mean, I could have done the whole screen, I guess, but I just didn't want to do the whole screen. Doomheim said, I was curious as to why the overflow user ID sometimes shows up in the process and has a command description as pause. I don't know what that is, Doomheim. I can't tell if that's an I or an L. Doomhelm. Either one's all right. Yeah, God, I've seen your name 100 times and I still, with my damn glasses, can't tell, and I have no idea what that was. Oh, that's that window, isn't it? I was like, what the? Hold on. That is loud as shit. Man, that's loud. All right, get out of here. That was loud. All right. Ranger Cam, you guys can hang out with Ranger. Let me keep working on this stuff. If node does not respond or does not come back, there is another reset and connection alternative. And let's make this format text black. And then the connection to this one can be go back over to my other window and pull that up. All right. All right, so we'll go over here. Thanks for the follow. Hopefully this stuff's useful to you. I don't know how to say that because there's no vowel sounds in it. Fun fact, can anybody tell me without looking up, this is one of my little trivia facts that I know about life. Can anybody here without using Google, you could use Google I guess if you want. You might not even be able to find this on Google. Does anybody here know why, I bet Google knows, why a consonant sound is different than a vowel sound? Do you know the difference? Anybody know? Anybody know that right off the top of their head? How are consonant and vowel sounds different? All right, this is currently being held open by console, but you can connect. Nash, okay, all right. Yeah, you guys got to remember, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer anymore. Currently being held open by console. But if they ever need to troubleshoot, they'll be able to troubleshoot this. So, all right, crux, copy, boom. System. I bet your wife that's a school teacher would know, especially if she teaches grammar before 4th grade. Yeah. I'm gonna learn you guys something new today that might be fun. I'm also gonna have some of you guys going ah, a, e, o, u, ah, a, you know, like all that stuff. A vowel sound does not require any part of your mouth to touch any other part of your mouth. A consonant sound causes some part of your mouth to touch another part of your mouth. Your tongue to your teeth, your lips together, your tongue to the side of your mouth, whatever it is. But yeah, your mouth pieces of your tongue and your lips and the top of your palate don't touch anything in vowel sounds. Vowel sounds come completely from your throat. So that's what it is. Yeah. So Michael, that's a part of it. Yeah, that's a part of it is for consonant sounds, your mouth has to do something, your mouth or your tongue or something. But yeah, so if you say ch, yeah, you're touching your teeth. Yeah. Yeah. Whatever it is, right? But yeah, that is the difference between a vowel sound and a consonant sound, in case you're wondering. So then you say, yeah, because I always heard that Y could be a vowel sound or a consonant sound, and I didn't know the difference. Well, that's why. Yeah, that's the grammatical reason. So I think I told you guys, if I wasn't getting my doctorate in, if I had been an engineer my whole career, I probably would have gotten a doctorate in English. As it is, my doctorate's going to be in business administration and quantitative analytics. But that's neither here nor there. All right. Let me update my slide count because I have more and more slides. So I have 33 of this one now. So I'm keeping track of my slides over here as I go. And my goal for today was to get all of them over 60. So I'm almost to, yeah, I'm not super close to that goal, but I'm over halfway to that goal, which is good. Yeah. And reset. Yep. This is going to be lab activities. Okay. Name one. Lab requirements. Gotta have some lab. Whoops. Access to system. Root is preferred. All right. Boom. Hey, Street Track, how's it going over on the YouTube side? Yeah, we're just we're hanging out right now. I am doing stuff in my other windows, so I know I'm not doing as much directly with you guys to see. Let's see. I gotta go answer. Hold on, I gotta do one other thing. exiting this is with dot tilde at the command line with dot tilde. Okay. Good. Yeah, Nash. For a consonant to be a consonant, your tongue has to touch your teeth, or your lips have to push together, or your tongue has to touch some part of your mouth has to touch another part of your mouth. So vowel sounds are basically from the throat completely, and consonant sounds are formed by the parts of your mouth. That's what it is. Hey Scott, the old vids on Twitch sub only intentionally now because I want to go to YouTube. What was surprised we see? Yeah, Mint. So the thing was, actually, it's funny. I was talking to my brother the other day, and he said something to me about that. He goes, "Yeah, I was watching this guy who said you should just turn off your Twitch stuff to non-subs because see, I already put everything on YouTube. So YouTube is here's the thing. If people watch stuff on Twitch later, it's no benefit to me or the Prolog group, right? But if you watch it on YouTube, you get the same amount of ads and stuff, but you don't have to. But there's a benefit to the group. I know it's like pennies or whatever. That's not that big of a deal. But the point is, the stuff on Twitch only stays for 60 days anyway. So I don't really even need stuff. In fact, can I tell you guys something funny? If you're an affiliate on Twitch, which I'm only an affiliate, I don't have that little blue check mark. You don't get your VODs to stay more than 14 days anyways. But if you're just hanging out on YouTube as a nobody, your stuff stays forever. So that's one of the reasons that I switched that. But you might say, Scott, your VODs used to stay around for 60 days. Weirdest thing ever. I don't know how they put like, hey, I own a Lamborghini and I also want this truck bed cover. I don't know why they put these two together. But when you buy Turbo on Twitch, like I'm a Turbo guy because I hate ads, right? I hate them anywhere. So I just do Turbo, right? When you do Turbo, your channel, which is not a partner, gets 60 days of VODs. So I never understood that. I'm like, this is like I order a steak dinner and you're like, hey, would you like a little Bobby and some milk with that? And I'd be like, like a bottle. I'd be like, no, of course I don't want a bottle of milk with this steak dinner. Like, how do these things connect? And that's like a really weird thing about Twitch. So I don't know why they did that, but yeah, I did make that change, Mint. It wasn't because I was trying to deprive anybody of anything. I just wanted to drive people over to YouTube to watch more persistent things, if that kind of makes sense. So, yeah, and I mean, I don't really get much anything out of all that. It's just more of like an easier way for you guys to see it. Any benefit if we're downloading your live to watch offline? I don't. No, I mean, not to me, but I mean, hopefully it's a benefit to you guys. Street Track, I don't care. Like I tell people all the time, if you took all of our stuff, all of our useful stuff that's down in Discord, if anybody came in and just like grabbed all the stuff and threw it in their sack and left, I'd be like, I mean, it is what it is. I used to tell people it's the same thing. I had these, let me tell you guys a story about when I was in college. There were these two women that came through college with me. I don't know how they kept moving forward. They didn't learn anything. And you say, how do you know they didn't learn anything? They'd always be asking basic questions still at the end of the course. They wouldn't read anything. They wouldn't study. And they couldn't pass any of this stuff. But they kept going through all the way to the end. And I remember thinking, like, I hate that they're getting the same degree as me. But then I realized I will never be in competition with them for a job. There's no way anybody that wanted, like, what I could do would ever even entertain either of those two people. In fact, those two people ended up suing my school for not teaching them. That really happened. Early 2006 when I got my bachelor's. They turned around and sued the school. And it's like, they didn't fucking learn anything. They were the same ones. If I told you guys the story, we had this class. It was a technology course at DeVry, and it was a 400 level class. It was like 478. It was called Topics in Technology, and you had to teach two 20-minute sessions and a 40-minute session. I always thought it was funny. I'm like, man, we're so far along. It's what's called a survey course. So you just pick whatever topics you want of not even out of a bucket. They have to be around networking, right? Networking and systems. And I did a talk. My 40-minute talk was on turning a Cisco router into, this was early 2000s, using what's called reflexive access control lists, and using reflexive access control lists to make a $100 Cisco router function like, at the time, a $700 PIX firewall from them. So instead of buying a firewall, I could take a little router, use reflexive access control lists, and make it behave the same way. And their comment to the teacher, because the teacher told me later, he's like, hey, 2 people put this comment in for you. I just wanted you to know. This was too technical. This was a 400 level class for a bachelor's degree in network communication management at a technical college. And these 2 fucking people said that my thing was too technical. And I'm like, you fucking. But then I rationalized I'm never going to be in competition with those two, ever. And I'd be willing to bet they haven't done between the two of them a year of tech anywhere. So. Yeah. Yeah, Chris, it was me and this one guy, Trevor. I don't want to be super chat about it, but me and this one guy, Trevor, were like the 2 straight A students in our bachelor's program. And he was already a lead. There's a company out here in Phoenix called Discount Tire. Some of you guys might have, I don't, Discount Tire might be national, but he was one of their like IT architects when he was in school with me. And he and I were like the top 2 guys. And then everybody else was wherever they fell. I don't know. Not to be super dickhead about it, but that's just kind of how that falls. Lab 1.1. All right. And then Trevor, he went and he retired a few years back. He was much older than me. I started my bachelor's right as I got out of college, or right as I got out of the army. So I was 22. I felt like I was way behind. I'm like, did 4 years in the infantry, 4 years, 3 months, and 6 days. Not that anybody's keeping track. I was stop lost for the convenience of the Army to send me to Iraq in 03. And then when I got out, I just started going to school. I had already been doing school before that, but then I had to restart over because I wasn't going to stay in Colorado Springs when I got out. So, long story there. But, so that's that. I've got that part. What else? I've got a bunch of stuff to do here. Re-downloading content. The attack on the Internet Archive actually has me afraid that I should have wget everything I only have links to. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever happened to the Internet Archive? Were people trying to get rid of it? Were people trying to destroy history? Right? That's a thing. There's whole groups that's all their goal is to make sure people don't remember stuff. Yeah, Street Track. I think some of the Socratic stuff is some of my better stuff. We should redo that one of these days. So this whole week until Sunday, I think my wife's out of town. She's up in Boston and in the northeastern states with one of her friends and one of her girlfriends. They just wanted to hit a bunch of those states back east. And I've already been to most of them, so I didn't have to go. And you might say, why didn't you go? Well, because I'm trying to get this training out so that I can go and do this other stuff. Yeah, it is easier to control people if there's no history. Yeah, you don't know any of the mistakes other people made, right? So... what else? I've been adding, so while we've been talking, I've been kind of working on this other screen here over here. But, yeah, our Socratic stuff, by the way, in case anybody's interested in that, there is a recording on it, and then we also have all the notes up in our Discord. So what the Socratic method is, for people that aren't super familiar, is it's a method of asking yourselves questions about stuff. And let me just grab, pretty sure I have this here. So here's like all the Socratic Linux answers. Let me grab this real quick. Hold on. I guess I could just change logsec over to that real quick. Yeah, let me just change this over here. Where is my Notepad++? There we go. All right. And then I'll just move that up over this. All right. So if you guys have never seen like a Socratic method type thing, what we do is we just ask questions. Can you list the number of CPUs in a system? Can you tell me the speed in megahertz? Can you tell me the manufacturer of the chip? And we just walk down through, I think there were a few hundred questions we asked. Can you show me how systemd started SSHD? And then can you change user limits? And where would you go for that? And then can you describe the 7 fields of the Etsy Pass WD? And what are they, right? And just walk down, through the whole thing. And when we did it live, we kind of did it like this. Oh, I got to get those notes back up, don't I? But let's say I just went to like Rocky 13 here. And let me go up here. Let's just say like we were doing the disc stuff here. So I'm on Rocky 13 and I go here and I say, can I check how many discs I have? LSBLK. There's all my discs. Oh, they're set up in an MD80M array, so that's kind of cool. Somebody's put them into a RAID 5, and I can do LSBLK-F, and I can see information about those disks, and then I can do FDisk-L, maybe grep for XVD, and I can see the disks that are there, and I can do my ls-l dev disk by, and then there's all these different things that the disk could be by, and I could see what all the disks are, and by ID and by path and by UUID, so I can map all these things inside of my system. But this was our Socratic thing, and when we first did it, when I was first doing it, I just had a blank page, and then I had a PowerPoint, and the PowerPoint was just giving us questions, and then we were just going through it. So this is all up in the Discord if you guys want it. But the question would be, like, you could do it kind of like live and just run through it. It would probably take you like a couple hours to go through. We have a lot of them. And the goal is everything in there you could pretty much just run on a system, run in a lab, go up in Killer Coda and run it and practice, practice doing the stuff on a system, right? Like what's the worst you could do in Killer Coda? Just delete everything and start the lab over. Who cares, right? You get to the end and you have to start over again. Who cares? It's free lab. All it cost you was the hour to do it. So yeah, the Socratic method is, can you tell me how much method? Because what happened was Socrates had a method of inquiry, and a lot of people use it for, like, they think it's argumentative. But it doesn't have to be argumentative. It can also be a teaching method. So like a teacher will ask you, like, well, how do you think that? Or why do you think that? And it makes you think about how you got there. So we're using it a little more Socratic light, because we're not getting into like the why we're at a position that we're in or whatever. We're just using it to ask ourselves questions, which is still the Socratic method. When you hear it in argument, it would be like if you said, "Hey Scott, how was your day?" And I'm like, "Well, how's your day?" Right? That's you being Socratic with me. Like what you respond to every question with a question. That's what the Socratic method is in argumentation. But we're not trying to be lawyers here. But that is a way that people teach often, because it makes things stick. It's an application of knowledge as opposed to just like, because honestly, if you just went through and did a bunch of commands, you'd probably learn some stuff, but it's not as good as, getting in there and kind of like knowing what's going on. So, all right. Let me keep doing my little training here. I'm not getting as much training done as I probably should. I'm just building slide decks and stuff. Let me go back over here. Oh, I do need to get rid of this because I'm doing something else with this window. So you guys will have to go back to that other window, unfortunately. This window's doing important stuff. Let's see. Let me see what happens if I do this. Sorry guys, I'm grabbing another little slide here. Some presentation material in a different window. Let's go here. No, I need to get out of there. just up a little bit. Like that. You want that document in Discord? Give me 1 second here and I'll show it to you. Let's see. Let's see. Pulling. Need to go find this tool. Pulling information. This is a script that we run. Hold on. Yeah, let me show you guys that in Discord real quick. Hold on. Excuse me. So, Discord. Turn on Discord. So, you guys were asking where you would find the... So if you go in presentations, here is the Socratic method right here. So it's not too far up in presentations. There's some Prometheus stuff. There's some other stuff. But then right here is all of our Socratic notes. So you can download all the notes in, you know, whatever format you want, but it's just going to be text. And then here's the Socratic method. And that's all the questions. But the questions are also right here, so you don't necessarily need the other stuff. Yeah, you know what, Chris? When I heard that thing about the WordPress heating up, I was like, this sounds just like the cups thing to me. Who uses WordPress? And I guess the answer to that is all kinds of people do that are not like doing stuff professionally. I guess is the answer to that. But like, I can't imagine like a corporation running that. I mean, are there any like big corporations out there running WordPress? Because I would think you'd get like laughed out of it like an engineering meeting or an architecture meeting if you wanted to run WordPress. I would think that's what would happen to you. But maybe I'm confused about that. I don't know. I don't think I'm confused about that, but I'm pretty sure I've never seen that in my professional career. But I've not been everywhere in my professional career either. Yeah, I know there's a ton of people using WordPress. Are you saying there's organizations using WordPress? I guess. I mean, I don't know. Oh god. Don't even get me started on NASA, man. Usually grandfathered in via... Yeah, guys, I'll tell you what, man. You want to hear some shadow IT stories? I was on a team one time. This is a pretty big company, too. And I was the platform engineering lead for a big insurance company. Some of you guys know that. And we had a team go shadow on the marketing side, go shadow IT, and they had over 500 servers over there. And we were like, you guys can't be doing this. And to be fair, before I had gotten there and when this first happened, before I got there was probably a reason they had to do it. Our team was difficult to work with and wasn't very responsive and didn't have a good handle on the technology. But I think like when it was my manager who brought me on as his lead, we kind of helped wrangle a lot of that back. And then we took all that shadow IT stuff away and told them you can't do this crap. So, but I'm not doubting that there's a lot of WordPress. I'm surprised it's in the corporate world. It's the same thing when I saw that cups thing as a 9.9. I'm like, who uses cups? And I like turned around and like went, and then I just started seeing all these people like, I use cups, and I'm like, you have it on, but are you using it? Like that seems like a simple hardening thing to me. And then my background is, you know, obviously a lot of government stuff and a lot of system stuff for big colleges and stuff, and I've never run cups on anything. In fact, I go find it and turn it off when it's installed. Yeah, so I mean, it was just so surprising to me. But then people were like, yeah, well, if you run a desktop, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess if you run a Linux desktop everywhere, sure, but yeah. Yeah, Techniques Unknown. Saturday is already uploaded, so Unit 5 is up there. Should be in the stuff already. So, yep, should be in there. And then you guys, some of you will notice that the I don't have the Twitch storing VODs anymore. So like, I just moved it. It's all over on YouTube now. It's easier to do that because like even if you don't even have to maintain a page. If you don't do anything with YouTube, they still keep your stuff forever. So it's kind of nice. Oh, really? I guess, man. I don't know. I will admit though that I guess there's probably a lot of reasons to use certain tools or whatever. But yeah, cups being 99, I was like, wow, that's a pretty high. That's a pretty high one. Not as high as when we got log what the hell was that log one that we had, log 4J, right? You recommended by YouTube this time. The Socratic method was real good, fresh and knowledge. Good. Yeah, Laserbisk. The goal of that Socratic thing was to show you guys that you can find things and think things through and figure this stuff out. There's probably a few thousand other questions we could ask in that one and keep going. Interesting. Yeah, one plan. I didn't know that. I guess I mean this is one of these things where you're not in the industry, so you don't see it. But yeah, I've only ever just murdered cups every chance I got. So I guess there's other way for people to use it. So interesting. All right, I'm gonna close that down because we don't need to see that anymore. We'll leave that stuff spinning in the background for people that need it, and then let's keep. I'll put that there. I'm actually going to recopy this because I don't want that password in there. There's a script that has a hard-coded password, which isn't great. But at least this will remind them to change it when I show it to them in the training. Tell them, yeah, make sure you change that because that's not the right password anymore. And then I think there's a bunch more scripts in there. Let's see. Specified IP. Oh, so this one will be by IP. All right. So I don't miss anything. Point of sale system. Oh, geez. Interesting. I'm trying to find this. I gotta go take apart a script real quick. Hold on. What was this guy trying to do? Hey, Monkey Man, how's it going? Yeah, who has cups exposed publicly to the internet? Yeah, that's fun. What's a TSR in this context? Timestamp, time series, something? Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm watching a script run against a set of rack atom nodes in our environment. Wow, that's a lot. So, let me gather this. Gathering TSR data. Actually, I need to rerun that, and I need to use the full path. That sucks. Man, that sucks. All right. Sometimes, when you want to be verbose, you got to show everything. So, I'm not missing anything. Install scripts. There we go. Better. And then now that's going to take a few minutes to run. So who was here that said that they were working today? Who didn't get today off? I have today off, but I'm working through it, obviously. Since what I'm doing in this other window is technically work. But I think that I might try to do some more like co-working like this, because I think this stuff keeps me focused. Wadius off, you don't have today off? Yeah, that happens. Dead end. It's Columbus Day, right? Isn't that what it is here in the U.S.? Or is it Columbus Day in the U.S. But then if you don't like him, then you get to name it something else Day? I think I don't know. I thought it was. Oh, so you don't get that over there? Okay. Yeah, I think the UK calls us the ungratefuls over here. I think is the way that is. I don't know if everybody's still bitter about the the fight a few hundred years ago. I'm just kidding. All right, let me grab this real quick. Hold on. All right. TSR data. All right. Old school Columbus Day. Yeah. I mean, I grew up with it being Columbus Day. You know. My wife said she's at the Gillette Museum, and the funny thing about that is, being at the Gillette Museum, is she was telling me, yeah, it's made out of wood and wrought iron, this and this, and I was like, razor blades, and she's like, no, not razor blades, and I'm like, but it's Gillette. It's the Gillette Museum. Like, isn't that made out of mostly? And then all right. I'm getting too loopy here. All right, so that's gathering some data like that. Let me see if I can get this other one to work now. Let's go with -N on this one, and we'll do the whole thing. All right. Oh, man. See if there's any logs. My wife, so this was one of the most shocking things. I was like, we're sitting there hanging out, and she tells me the other day, she's like, so I made her watch the new Deadpool movie, and I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was great or anything, but I thought it was fine. And we get all done watching it, or we're talking while we're watching it, and I'm pausing it and stuff. And she goes, "Who is Wesley Snipes playing?" I hope I'm not going to ruin anything for anybody. It's a few months back, so I think it's fine to know that Wesley Snipes is in it. She goes, "Who is he playing?" And I'm like, I stopped the movie and I looked at her and I'm like, he's playing Blade. And she's like, Blade, who's that? And I was like, are you? She's like, are you messing with me right now? Like, like she knows about Marvel because her son, my stepson, was big into Marvel, and I'm like, you know all about Marvel, and she goes, yeah, and I go, you don't know who Blade is? And she goes, never heard of him, and I'm like really? He's the first of like the big. I know there were Marvel movies in the '80s and '90s and stuff, but I'm like, you, I'm like he's the reason they made. I'm like, you're kidding me, right? And she goes, yeah, and and I was explained to her that there was a second movie which was as good as the first one, then there was a third one that was but I was like, Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel were in the third one. That was like the big hook. That's why they like looked at each. And she's like, oh, I didn't get any of that. And I'm like, so I had to buy Blade on Amazon Prime for like $7 or something to show it to her because she's never seen Blade before. I'm like, I'm pretty sure everybody's seen Blade, but my wife had not. All right. Oh, I got to do this, but with a throw more on there, so that I can grab this. I'm gonna say gathering log data. I don't know how well you guys can hear that song that's playing right now because I don't think I have the sound pass through the way I do on my other window, but this song is also used in a game called Mechabellum, which is a super fun little game. If you haven't played Mechabellum, it's one of my favorites. I'm gonna capture this stuff. Nope, didn't mean to do that. Just kind of fun little. I don't know where else this song is used, but I know for sure that it's used in Mechabellum. Kind of fun. This little auto battler where you get your robots to kill each other. Ends up being pretty fun. Alright. Gather and log data from Rack Atom. Alright. 36 total slides on that one. Man, I'm getting up there now. 36 slides. All right. What else do we got? We're just, again, we're not working too hard today, guys. We're kind of just hanging out and checking on Ranger. Is my thing still spinning back there? Are you guys seeing Ranger every now and then? I think you guys should be. How's Ranger doing? Oh man, Phoenix is finally cooling off, guys. I think it's only supposed to get like 96 or 97 today, so we are out of the hundreds, hopefully, for the rest of the year. We dipped a couple weeks ago. We dipped down, and we were down in the 90s, like the high 90s, and it was like, oh, thank God we're out of the hundreds. And then we went back up to over 100. We were 116, I think, on October 7th. I think we were 116. It like broke a record that had been held since like 1917. So way back then it got that hot. But it's like we're hopefully, yeah, well, yeah, only 97 is still, I mean, God, we were literally just last week, a week ago today, we hit 116 again. And, there we're going. Hitting mid 60s out there. We got down in the 60s last night, Chris, so. I'll tell you what, though, the only time I've been in Georgia in all my life, I've flown through there a couple times, but also I was there at Fort Benning in 1999 through early 2000s for infantry school, and that was, the cold and humidity is like one of the worst things I've ever experienced. Now, I've heard Georgia is terrible in summer, but I'm going to tell you, being outdoors and in that cold and that humidity, how it clings to you, it was terrible. It was like one of the worst experiences of my life. And I didn't have any weight on me back then. I was nice and lean, so the wind and the cold would just cut right through me back then. So yeah, that was brutal. Let me see if there's anything else in here that I kind of need. It's my first summer in Georgia from South Texas. It was a piece of cake. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, any of those places that get humidity, man, it just hits different. The humidity makes both the hot and the cold worse. Yeah. I don't care. I don't care if it's hot or cold. Humidity's worse. Uh, like, send me anywhere dry and cold, I'm fine. Send me anywhere hot and hot. Yeah, dry and hot, I'm fine. But once you start putting humidity in there, mm, nope, doesn't feel good anymore. All right, so gathering log data, I got that. Move that over a little bit. Hmm. Yeah. We were talking about this yesterday, I think, too. Like, some of the guys here are from Texas, and one of them had mentioned, I forget if he was Houston or where he was, but they hit like 110, I want to say in like March, and we were not even to 100 yet. And I was like, geez. So they basically got hotter faster, but I don't think their summers held on nearly as long as ours has. So there's a thing. So Phoenix also has a really good like monsoon season in July, and that's like our one like high humidity time of the year. But we really didn't get one this year. I mean, I had a couple little rain showers. There wasn't like days and days of like rain clouds coming like normal this year. So that was kind of wild. And typically, that'll happen, August and then in September, and sometimes it'll kind of break summer a little bit, but it didn't do it this year. So, yep, it's all hot here. It's all. That's why Ranger's always laying downstairs looking. Yeah, with 100 humidity is terrible. All right, all right. Hawaii. Yeah, I'm gonna be in Hawaii in about 2 weeks. So I think the 28th is when I'm doing this training that I'm building. So I'm getting closer to going out there. But I need to verify that that's when we're going out. Like, and I got to get my plane tickets and my hotels and stuff. So I got to work through that here. I actually probably got to talk to my boss today. Even though we're on, what's it called? Holiday today, they all seem to be working. Like my Slack is going, and I'm like, are you guys like? Do you guys realize it's a holiday right now? I'm like, what's going on here? It's a holiday. What the heck's going on here, guys? But all right. So yeah, I've got that. Let me look at this other thing. This one's at 29. This one's at 58. 58. 20, oh, that one's down to 29, huh? I don't know why it's at 29, but I'll take it away. And then I'll start doing my worksheets and all of my lab things for these guys to work on. More content for the training. So, I'll probably stop here. I'm gonna go grab some food somewhere. I gotta find some food to eat, and I might be on later. I'll probably be if I get on later. I'll be more serious for like the stream. We'll do like an actual stream, not just me kind of hanging out and doing this stuff. But if this stuff's fun to you, like if you like doing, not necessarily this, but like Linux stuff in general, we do have a Discord. We have a fair amount of people down there trying to better themselves and doing this stuff professionally instead of just kind of doing this as a hobby. Like hobbies are great, but you can also go do it professionally if you want to make money at it. And our goal here is to help you kind of get into that and get towards that. So, yeah, I'll be back around. Let's go I'll find somebody on the Twitch side to raid if I can. But for you guys over on YouTube, unfortunately, I don't have anything cool like that for you. Let's find out who's on. We'll go hit up of the people that I follow. Let's go raid over to. We'll go hit up Rossburger. Ross is always fun. So, if you guys are, if you're around, hit me up on Discord. Work on your labs and stuff, and I will talk to most of you guys later.